Zach here. I'm doing a quick live stream event. It's mostly a live stream regional recap video, where it's me talking about this past weekend where I played both Buddy Fight and Vanguard and talking about all my games there. So Vanguard was a little bit different. Buddy Fight. So it's a summary of the New York regionals. So first day was Saturday, Vanguard Day. Vanguard Day was interesting, mostly because going into the day, my teammates Juan Mango and my boy Sean that you always see on my videos. We're our team. We're playing. Juan Mango's playing Kagro. Big shocker if anyone knows him. My friend Sean's playing Cat Butler, the Legion Cat Butler deck, and I'm playing Spike Brothers. So to start the day, we win the first 2 rounds. I lose both those games to Aqua Force. So Aqua Force I knew it was going to be kind of an annoying matchup for me. I've been out of the game for a good bit, but I knew that the rush was going to get me, and the game one was just awful. I mean, I was at 2 damage. He had I think it was the blue wave, the dragon one that gets an extra crit if it's the 5th attack, and then he gets double crits. And I was like, okay, cool, this is Vanguard. I'm used to this stuff. So I take the 4 damage, lose. Luckily, my teammates get the wins. Game 2, same. He had to G assist, but his grade 1 turn was 3 attacks. His grade 2 turn was 3 attacks. I was like at 5 damage already. And unfortunately, the only guard material that I had at the time were my heal triggers, so I couldn't even G guard. But that was the end of my losing streak for a while, because for the next 6 rounds, I picked up wins. And surprisingly enough, I played against a Beast Deity, I think was the 3rd round. The 4th round, I think I played against the Mega Colony. I also played against a Link Joker for the day. And a couple other decks, but after those first 2 rounds, it was... No, Vanguard was definitely not 2 of 3. Well, just for Gary talking in for the comments. Vanguard was best of 1. It was best of 2 of 3 from the team. So each person played 1 game. So Juan played 1, Sean played 1, and I played 1. And then the 2 of the 3 from the 1 wins were the team that got carried on. So that's why I don't mind the teams as much, because it's technically 2 of 3, but each deck gets 1 game to play. But yeah, I played a bunch of, and surprisingly though, from all of this, we go X-1, and that launches us into top 8 for Vanguard, which we didn't expect, because going into the event for the entire day, we were totally expecting to scrub out. We told ourselves, hey, let's go watch X-Men as soon as we scrub out, and guess what? We don't get the benefit of being able to do something like that. We get to keep playing for the top 8, which is funny because we weren't expecting it. We weren't taking Vanguard super seriously, but we still got there. And the top 8 game was awful for me, because I had to G assist. I was playing against the Die Kaiser, and I had to G assist because I heard a few rounds before my friend, what do you call it? He Seabreeze Laurel someone. And I was like, I don't want that to happen to me when I'm at grade 2. I really don't want that to happen to me. So I G assisted into my other grade 3, the Hive Maker that I run, which I got to pick up a Perfect Guard, but it was not pretty. I was being greedy with guards, which I think I had to do at that point, because I already had gone down 2 cards against the Die Kaiser, and I was just trying to push for game the next turn anyway. But it's I give him enough shield where he has to get a trigger and a 3 to break. He gets them, then he laurels, then I put down 2 G guards, so he has to get a trigger. No, the first guard he only had to get a 3, but the second guard he had to get a trigger and a 3 to break, and he did both times. And I was like, okay, great, you got it. And Sean and Juan got devastated because our decks are so not good. I mean, I'm fairly confident in Spike Brothers. The Spike Brother build that I had is just a Rising Nova Miracle Ace build, where if you go into Miracle Ace, you almost always win those games because you get attacks equivalent to the number of charge cards you have in your hand. And if all goes well, you reoccurring stand triggers make it so off of like 2 or 3 damage, you can get a lot of attacks in there. And my deck being different from some of the other Rising Nova decks that I've seen, I run just the 4 Rising Nova and 4 Hive Maker. I don't run any Dogs because from Heave Weaves, I'm gonna get Heave Weaves and a Frog Raider. I'm gonna get that solid number, the 16 base, and then all that charge power that goes up from the +5s from Miracle Ace, and then the +10 that Heave Weaves is getting. It got ridiculous. It got so ridiculous that I was calling stand triggers at that point with the boost. They were hitting for about 34,000, which is pretty crazy. That's how many times I had a card leave the field and then had a stand trigger come into play on flip of damage, so I can play Hive Makers from my hand to save soul and then keep going, keep the whole thing going. That was a Vanguard day. In case you were wondering, we never got a chance to watch X-Men until the Monday after, where I was the only one from the team who went to actually go watch it because everyone else was dead tired when we got back. But I did get to see it Monday, and I didn't think the movie was that bad. Now, for the real day, for me at least, the day that I care about more than the Vanguard day, and that was the Buddy Fight day. So Buddy Fight day is the day where I get to see most of the local peeps that I see. I see Gary's commenting down here. I did get to see Gary again. And disappointingly, I didn't do as well as I wanted to with Vanguard. I mean, with Buddy Fight. We got top 8 with Vanguard, so we were like, we're probably going to do horribly with Buddy Fight, but that's not true for one. But for me, my record for the whole day, I lost twice. So I lost once to Chris and his 5th Omnis, and I lost, I think it was the 4th round. I have the notes here. I can go through slowly. I lost to a weird Dragon World build that kind of utilized cards from all the subtypes. And what mostly got me what mostly got me was the Impact Monster, the Traffic Impact Monster he had, because I saw that he was running Impact Monsters, and I was mostly banking on the fact that I was going to Eligos his Impact Monsters. But instead, he had the Penetrate Impact Monsters, so Eligos was going to deal an additional damage to me, and it sealed the game for him. But I'll go through the rounds. So round 1, I got to play against Joey. So I can't remember what your channel's name is specifically, Joey, but I'll definitely give him a shout out. I should just look it up right now. So subscriptions. Yeah, Buddy Fight TCG Central. So that's Joey. Yeah. He used to be on TBI. I played against Joey. So big shout out to Joey first, because he hooked me up with one of these life counter things, which I mentioned to him like a year ago, and he remembered. And so it's a very big thank you to Joey, because I've been eyeballing this for one of my buddies for the longest time, and I think it's a very convenient way to keep track of life. So that's very cool. But the first round was against Joey. I beat Joey. I won the first game, lost the second, won the third. The third one I was definitely sweating a bit, just because I feel like that was was it the second or the third one it was like a grind where we were both going at it. But playing Magic World, I had the 3 Never Say Numbers for the best draws ever, so it put me over the top. The second round, I played against Chris Snow. I see Chris every year when I go to these events, so it's I can't. Usually he used to be a Dungeon World player, but I think he switched to 5th Omni either recently or he'd been that for a while, because I guess the last time we went to New York was like all the way in August, so that's like a long time ago. But I played against him, so I lost the round, but I won game 1. So I won game 1 because I think I went second, and I think I managed to get the drop zone set up for an OTK with Devil Fever. So if I haven't said what deck I was playing 72 Pillars. I should probably state that before we keep going further. I played 72 Pillars as Modai. It's a deck similar to what I have as a deck profile. I switched it up a little bit for Gauge and set spells. I had made sure to put in Noisy Dance Room, because I had problems with my 5K as Modai's hitting cards like Aster or original Star Guardian Jack or Arconceal, and this additional +1 +1K power helped put me over the top to apply more than just a link attack pressure. Allowed me to do solo attack pressure on these units, which was big. It was super big. And then add on to that the ability of Noisy Dance from to pay a gauge to bounce a card on my field during my turn, once per turn. It's really nice. Yeah, we do. We didn't. I didn't even get a deck profile from you in August, Gary. Even though I don't remember if you were playing Quartet. You were playing Quartet 5 last time, but you're definitely playing a different superhero build this time. I think you were saying. Yeah, I definitely need. I didn't even bring my camera last time, so I'll have to definitely make sure that I get my camera. And people who want to do deck profiles, just Zach, I want to do a deck profile for this deck. Will you record it? And okay, sure, yes, of course. I know I didn't see Steven this year. I think I saw him on Vanguard Day, but I didn't see him on Buddy Fight Day. But I digress. And then games 2 and 3 of the 5th Omni matchup with Chris. Game 2, my deck total was a total stall, which I kind of knew going into that it would kind of there were games that it could stall out like that, but I wasn't hoping that those games would appear this early in the tournament, and they did. The fifth Omnis is definitely a very good deck. To me, it's one of the better decks in the format. It's one of those more consistent ones. They have a decent advantage engine with just their creatures being able to either destroy or pick up creatures back from the drop. So it's very, very intimidating because you kill a drum and they play a monster, they can pick up the drum and then do all these kinds of effects that is very aggravating. So I mean, I tried to build a deck that could suit it because the Teacher Asmodai is very capable of destroying multiple cards. If I can destroy or bounce a 5th Omni's weapon, I think it definitely stalls the deck a little bit. If I can just straight up destroy drum with one card, awesome. But for round 2, those cards didn't really show up in games 2 and 3, and I lost that one. The next round I was playing against Steven. He was, I think, also another player from the Long Island, the Brothers Grimm card store. He was playing Sun Dragon, so he almost got me in like both games. I'm looking at my notes here, and in game 1 I won with 1 life, and in game 2 I won with 2 life. And that 2 life is only because I chillaxed to go to 2 on his final attack with his impact monster. And when he was talking about how he probably could have done that differently, where if he had attacked my monster, because he had the set spell whenever his Sun Dragon attacks and destroys a monster, I take a damage. And he's right. If he had attacked my Sun Dragon, I wouldn't have had the 3 crit on board. If he had attacked my size 0 Asmodai to try and kill me, I would have chillaxed either way. But I wouldn't have had the field to push for game. And so we definitely would have gone to game 3 if he had attacked my monster instead. But he didn't. He had attacked me directly because he had his impact monster and he was swinging for 4 crit, hoping I didn't have a card like Chillax. But I did, because I've been holding them for turns. Next I was playing against, 4th round, I was playing against the superhero deck. It was a superhero, but she ran into Captain Answer Overload a lot. For me, I had drawn into many boy transformation Asmodai, so I'd on both turns that I went for. So game 1, I had I think I started with Dance Asmodai like I normally do, attack for 2, and then she kills my guy, puts me down to 5 with her E drum and overload combo, and puts me at 5. But the next turn, I boy transform Asmodai. I set up the drop. I pay more gauge. I get the Teacher out. I have 72 pillars in the drop, and then I swing for 10. I swing for I swing for 8 damage. So I push for game. I bounce the weapon so they can't do the plus power plus defense cards. I can solo attack so they can't eat up my link attacks with I've seen through your moves. In game 2 is much of the same, whereas she didn't have hyper energy in game 2, and she went first, started with overload, and I bounced it. In my mind thinking, okay, if she doesn't have hyper energy, she won't be able to do an overload and E-drum play, which was true because I saw that the gauge had been an an emergency launch Decker drum, and so it was definitely inhibiting to bounce the overload multiple times, which I had done, and just slowly set up my drop zone to push for game with Devil Fever. So next, so they said 8 rounds at the beginning of the day, but there were only 7. And as soon as they said 7, I was like, some X and ones are definitely gonna get screwed over. But round 5 is where I got my second loss, and that was against Ivan and his. I wrote down Hybrid Dragons, where I won game 1. But like I had mentioned in the beginning, he had got me with the unusual impact monsters, the impact monsters that I'm not normally accustomed to seeing. I was more expecting the 4 crits, so I was using my shields a bit differently than I should have been doing the whole time. Round 6, I played against Dion. So Dion's a friend, a mutual friend of I think my friend Isaac and Derek and their crew. And he was playing Cardburn. In all the games he didn't see Cardburn, so for a while I was wondering if it was a Gonzalar deck. Because games 1 and 2 he went into Gonzalar with Penetrate, but in games 3 he didn't even get a single ride target, which kind of sucks. I mean that's part of the hazard of running in Cardburn, I guess, is that when you brick super hard. It's nice having Gonzalar as a backup target because he also can't be destroyed or bounce. The bounce part is very, very relevant against my matchup, the bounce destroy thing. So that was very annoying. And then the final round I played against Jonathan. He's a subscriber, so shout out to Jonathan right here. And all my subscribers, if you guys ever approach me and you just want to talk Buddy Fight or talk anything or talk about whatever, feel free to do so. I'm even receptive on comments down on my videos. But Jonathan was playing Star Dragon World. He was using the new Jack as his buddy, and those games went 2-0. I think it's just that since he didn't have or see Asters, that my deck is very, very aggressive and capable of destroying monsters a lot in one turn. And the whole thing with Aster is that he can prevent destruction, which is very annoying. Very annoying. That's why my deck had been based around 4 Void Transforms as Modais to try and catch my opponent with the Jack on the side and the weapon, thinking they can bank on moving it to the center, where I use the Void Transform to bounce the weapon and then push for game with monsters on the field and Devil Fevers. But that wasn't even an option for the day. I hadn't played against the 2-star Dragon World decks. I played against there's only one game in which they saw an Aster, and I think I managed to bounce out the Soul anyway. But that was the day for Buddy Fight. So I looked at the standings. I finished 16th out of, I think there was 170 folks there for the day, which I'm not sure, but I think that might be the biggest in at least America. I don't even know about, I think Malaysia said they had around 70 something people. So 170 is awesome. I think before the time before in New York it was just over 100. So now we're even approaching 200, which is awesome. I mean, every time somebody has a post where they're saying, "Is the game dead?" Like, well, there's nobody talking about anything. It's like you're not even going to these regional events, I bet. And I'd say 100 people showing up to Buddy Fight and the scale going up and up every year. It's pretty good. I mean, I'd say the game isn't dead. I wish I got some more action in my area because I have to drive an hour out to get to Buddy Fight players, mostly besides Wong and Sean. And I wish that we had more people showing up for our locals, because the Dream Wizards in Rockville, where I play every Saturday starting around 11:30. So go there if you guys want to. I go there and play, and our locals is a little bit small. I drive up to Glen Burnie, up to HQ Games, which has around 10 people, and then occasionally we make it our way to Justin's store. We can also find a different 10 people to play against. But I wish my locals had more than just the 3 of us, plus a few kids that we help with the game by having our Buddy Fight days and bringing our extras and letting them go through them. That's the day. Definitely a disappointing day for me for Buddy Fight. 16 to me is not good enough. I was really, really, really hoping to push for at least make a top 8 push this time, but the second loss was a real blower to me. Like, I got so upset. Like, I'm not visibly a salty person, but I was a little bit salty after those losses. So I'll have to pick it up. I can start making my jank decks. An apology to my subscribers that the content has been a bit quiet, mostly because I was trying to make an aggressive competitive push with my deck, so I didn't want to give too many secrets away for the deck. So I mean, I had recorded some Asmodai matches, but I was like, you know, I'd like to kind of keep it to myself for a little bit, but definitely start expecting more content. I have revamped Asgard recently. It's like an Omnilord Asgard deck. I was inspired by one match video that I had watched to build it. Legend World's still not super good. Um, it's one of my favorite worlds, but I'm still waiting for more. With the Impact Monster release, Widers look like they're gonna get a boost, but I mean, a lot of the time the hype is unjustified. But we'll see. I mean, I'm definitely building and buying like 8 boxes, so I'll have plenty of cards to build decks with. I should also be able to get a Black Dragon deck profile up here in the next week or two before the set drops. It was a Vanishing Hole, the 6 Crit Abigail deck profile, which I thought was very effective. That I helped my friend build. The Gauge Excel is no longer an issue for Black Dragons, which is awesome. So if you haven't realized that, look forward to this deck profile. Look forward to the Asgard deck profile. We had my friend Sean had used a Star Dragon World extra turn deck, but he bricked so hard. Like in the weeks we were playtesting before, he was sweeping locals because if you don't open a removal or a bounce, he wins in most cases because as soon as he ramps into, like, his cards will go down super low until he ramps into either the car. It's mostly Luminous Blue that he absolutely needs, and Luminous Blue will maintain his card upkeep because Luminous Blue and his weapon and the cross dices that let you draw a card for paying Gauge are the infinite loop, I think, of the deck where you can constantly draw enough cards to discard to get up to 3 soul for the extra turn guy to constantly take the turns where he keeps poking you slightly, and you have to you guard in hopes that he runs out of the materials he needs to get into his infinite turn combos. And then, of course, Juan, so big shout out to Juan, where he got 4th place with 5th armies. So he did very well for that day. So it's good to see that. He switched his deck up, so it was definitely a little bit more aggressive than what I had been used to seeing him over the weeks. Because before he was a lot more dependent on Crimson Drum, but this time he was playing some of the Impact Monsters and the 4000 Festival. Because there are a lot of 4000 attack power 5th armies, which I didn't really immediately recognize. So his deck was actually quite lethal, obviously lethal because he got to the top 4, but he lost in his top 4 match to Magic World, and then he lost to my friend Alex in the fight for 3rd. So my friend Alex, shout out to Alex and Buddy Fight News Corner. So Alex is one of the people who are usually on the live stream events that we do. And so shout out that to his 3rd place finish. And of course, Nate, another person I know mutually through Isaac, he got 2nd with Asmodai, the teacher Asmodai deck profile. His deck, it was a good bit different than mine. I think he only had the 2 dances, and he was a considerably less amount of Gauge Excel on spells. It was more towards the creatures that gave Gauge, and he was playing the 4 Teaches, and it was a lot more bounce than my deck, which was a lot more destruction. But he finished 2nd, and then 1st was Star Dragon World. I know, big shocker, but it wasn't necessarily an Aster build, but more of an Omega Big Bang. And the appeal of Omega Big Bang is that he's capable of destroying any card on the field by pitching a soul, which is awesome. And it makes it so that the non-Aster matchups he can control the board very easily. So that's the regional recap video for you guys. The next Buddy Fight event is, I don't know when. I don't think I plan on going to anything else at the moment. Short term, I think the next ones are Ohio and Austin, Texas, which I don't think I'll make the trips out for. For our area, we have the Dynasty Cup thing. If you guys haven't been paying attention to I think it's the last video we had where we were talking about our partnership with Mongola, where we are doing a Cardfight Vanguard tournament series where we are bringing back shop qualifiers on our own. We're doing shop qualifiers from New York all the way down to Virginia and maybe North Carolina. We're trying to work something out here where we're having top 2 be able to qualify for events where we will pay for bus fare. not a whole lot, but like we will look at a bus from you to Pennsylvania, where the championship is being held, the Common Ground, and we will help you guys paying for that bus trip, or you can just we'll give you that money and then you can use it for gas or however you choose to use it. But it will be a 1-day event in like mid-October. Check out I'll put links for everything that I've talked about. So like links for Buddy Fight TCG Central, Buddy Fight News Corner, Dynasty Cup, Team Mongol in New York City, Burning Infinity since I saw them at the event. Any things I can think of, I'll put into the comments of this video. And so stay tuned. If the card store that we have this weekend has internet, look forward to a Cardfight Vanguard live stream event for our streaming of the Dynasty Cup Summer Wars, the East Coast circuit. So stay tuned. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.